In this video, I'll be looking at the astrological symbolism in the Brazilian French film called The Black Orpheus, or Orfeo Negro, which was released in 1959. Please note that I recommend watching this film before this video because this video contains spoilers. One of the main stars is an American actress named Marpessa Dawn, who played Eurydice, and the other is a Brazilian actor named Breno Melo, who played Orpheus. By the way, her last name is a perfect esoteric fit for her role. Dawn means the first light of the sun as it peaks above the horizon. This symbolizes new beginnings, and that's a major theme in this film. I chose to do an occult video essay on this movie because number one, it's visually stunning, and number two, it's oozing in astrological themes that I was dying to dissect. Also, this movie is a bit controversial. Black Orpheus has received criticism from Brazil at the time due to its claims that it exoticized Brazilians and reinforced stereotypes. Keep in mind there are so many esoteric references I want to cover in this video, but I removed a lot so that this video won't get too long. What are some major occult themes that you noticed in The Black Orpheus? Write them below. Okay, before I analyze this film, let me first give a summary. This movie is a modern take on the Greek mythology of Orpheus and Eurydice. The tragic love story is set in the lively and colorful streets of Rio de Janeiro during Carnival. Orpheus is a talented and magnetic musician with a high-strung and jealous fiancée named Mira, but falls in love with the beautiful and demure Eurydice, who has come to Rio to escape a stalker. We see in the beginning two boys flying a golden kite that looks like the sun, and it ascends and then descends in the wind. A bit later, Eurydice finds her cousin and tells her about a man who stalked her where she used to live and that he wanted to kill her. That's why she is escaping her hometown. The same two boys who were flying the kite arrive to Orpheus's home and ask, "Can you make the sun rise just by playing the guitar?" "Of course," he replied. They continue inquiring, "Can you make the sun rise tomorrow?" He says that he can, especially since tomorrow is Carnival, and that he just makes up songs that make the sun rise. His guitar is old and has engraved on it, "Orpheus is my master." He tells the boys that there was an Orpheus before him and that there will be another after he's gone, implying that the sun never dies. As he sings, Eurydice walks in the duplex next door, and you can see another sun kite in the background, further illustrating that Orpheus's music pulls up the sun by the strings of his rays. She's waving a scarf around like a ribbon that has the zodiac signs on it, which we'll discuss later. Orpheus represents the sun, the king. He's radiant and magnetic. All the women chase after him because he's so handsome, and he's an inspiring leader in the community. The kids look up to him. Eurydice is the moon. Look at how her face glows from the reflection of his radiance. He throws an orange from one hand to another, motioning the sun's path from rise to descent. One of the boys explicitly explains to Eurydice that Orpheus is the sun, and Serafina, Eurydice's cousin, is the queen of the night. The moon is the queen of the night, which is mysterious and is the shining light when we're in a dark place. "Look at how happy she is," one boy explains. The moon represents our emotions and our happiness. When we have a solid moon in our charts, we don't easily fall into depression and we are adaptable to the ever-changing flows of life. Mira, Orpheus's fiancée, is the queen of the day. The queen of the night may represent the new moon, while the queen of the day may indicate the full moon. The full moon is the furthest away from the sun. This is the first time Eurydice finds out that she is his fiancé. In the middle of Eurydice trying on a costume for Carnival, a boy runs into the fitting room to tell her that a man is looking for her. Oh no, Hades, her stalker, the lord of the underworld, appears in a skeleton costume. She flees, and Orpheus searches for her in the residential area. Orpheus has an encounter with Hades, and he tells Orpheus he's in no rush to take her away, and the king claims that he'll protect her. When Eurydice finally comes back to the village, she explains that her scarf contains the signs of the zodiac. The sun spins each month out of the year in 1 out of 12 zodiac signs. She says that she was born in the sign of the carneiro, a male sheep, which is a ram. The scarf shows the head of a ram, which is ruled by Aries. The sun is exalted in Aries, and look how her hair is splayed on the pillow like the rays of the sun. Having one's sun in Aries helps the individual have the courage to pursue their vision consistently. Eurydice is willing to make sacrifices, and the ultimate sacrifice one can make is self-sacrifice. As the moon is a reflection of the sun, Eurydice sees a reflection of herself in Orpheus. The moon is the ego. When the moon dies, so does the ego. The death of the ego can happen either when the individual dies or, spiritually speaking, when they overcome their internal demons and recognize that everything is connected to the divine. In reality, the moon doesn't die. She's just not reflecting the sun when she's a new moon because she's too close to the sun to be seen. But symbolically, when our unhealthy ego ends, we connect to the one sun, which is the divine essence. We can begin to see the truth as we confront our shadows and clear out the gunk and programs we've carried over the years. The sun represents the truth because it illuminates and helps us see around us. The light of the moon helps us to see our inner light. The moon in our charts represents our inner knowing, intuition, and psychic abilities. Orpheus begins to serenade Eurydice, and the sun rises, and the two boys' belief has been confirmed. Orpheus's beautiful music has the power to lift the sun from the dark depths of the earth. Eurydice disguises herself as her cousin in the Queen of the Night costume as she conceals her face behind a shadowy veil like a new moon. While swaying colorful dresses and flying confetti and streamers blanket the street, the Grim Reaper creeps between the crowd to search for Eurydice, who's twirling in the parade in disguise. Feeling disconnected from her fiancé, Mira asks him if he loves her, and he just tells her to continue dancing in her spot and that they'll talk later. He dances with the veiled Queen of the Night, and Mira looks at their interaction and suspects that it's not Seraphina in the costume, but Eurydice. Hades, the Grim Reaper, scans the crowd for the Queen, but doesn't find her until he looks over to see Seraphina in the crowd cheering on her cousin. The Grim Reaper figures out where Eurydice is and tries to entrap her with the streamers. A little corny, I know. But the Queen of the Day sees Seraphina in the crowd and takes off Eurydice's veil, and they get into a brawl. As Eurydice runs away, Mira yells after her, "I'm going to kill you!" As she's running, she falls into the embrace of the Grim Reaper. She gets away, but now has two people trying to kill her. He chases her until they get to a train station. As she tries to escape her fate, Orpheus finds her at the station and he calls her name. Because he can't see her, he tries to turn on the lights, but her hands are hanging onto wires and she ends up getting electrocuted to death, symbolizing the potential cruel power of the sun. He finds her body at the morgue and lifts the veil from her face as his radiance illuminates her face like a full moon, almost as if her karmic cycle was complete. He carries her lifeless body up the mountain to his home, wrapped in a white sheet. When he arrives at his village, there's fire and smoke and his vengeful fiancé screaming, "I'll kill you! I'll grind you to dust!" He takes steps back to avoid her wrath. She doesn't realize that Eurydice is already dead and throws rocks at him, saying, "I'll kill you both." She launches a big rock and it hits his head and he falls off the cliff. Their bodies tumble down the mountain, and they land in a bush with spiky rays. The sun and his rays swallow the moon like a total eclipse, symbolizing the drastic, fated changes that are transpiring. Orpheus's love for his queen was so impenetrable that it killed him not to be with her. The moon cannot exist without the sun, and the sun cannot exist without the moon. We need the dark, which is the feminine and moon principle, just as much as we need the light, the masculine sun principle. When we cease reducing things into dualistic good or bad qualities, we can see the truth more clearly. We need to unite these two opposing energies within ourselves through awareness and acceptance. These are very important yin-yang luminaries in our charts because they're the ruling forces of our inner fulfillment in life, which have to do with leading an inspired life of happiness. The sun represents the consistent masculine side of ourselves that takes care of responsibilities and makes sacrifices. He shines as he pursues his long-term vision to make the world a better place. The sun is our individual creative self-expression and contains a part of the divine consciousness, which is in everything and in everyone. The receptive, adaptable, and feminine moon connects to everything through our senses. It's our conditioned consciousness, emotional expression, and our ego. The moon represents our deepest needs. The moon is our inner knowing that doesn't need external validation or facts. Not only does the moon reflect our emotions, but it also shows what we're comfortable with and our environment. When we destroy unhealthy parts of our ego and unite our masculine and feminine energies in a synchronistic way, we become whole as our left and right sides are aligned, and we can more easily reach what the Buddhists call nirvana, or heaven. One of the boys grabs Orpheus's guitar and hands it to the other boy so he can make the sun ascend. The little boy isn't confident at first, but starts playing a tune. The other boy says that he was able to make the sun rise like Orpheus. A little girl from the village says, "Now you're Orpheus." They start dancing to the music. The boy playing the guitar assumes the role of the new king, while the girl becomes the new queen. The moon dies when it's a new moon and grows as it becomes full again. The sun dies after sunset and is reborn at sunrise. We all go through the cycles of new beginnings, death, and rebirths throughout life, becoming wiser with each period. It was the end of Orpheus's and Eurydice's reign. With each cycle that ends, we let go of self-importance and the illusion of separate existences. We understand each person and thing is just as essential as we are. Ultimately, we symbolically witness the death of separate existences when the sun sinks beneath the earth every night and when the moon disappears completely every month. During the new moon, we can't see anything in the dark, and everything becomes one. Similarly, when we are asleep, we belong to no religion, nationality, race. We exist as one. This is the goal of many spiritual teachings, to go beyond what we see and go deeper. When we acquire enlightenment, everything becomes part of the one divine essence, and we're free from suffering. We're at peace with what is. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this. Let me know if you want me to do another occult video analysis, and let me know what movie you want me to dissect. Take care. Bye.